People don't say the Myrtles Plantation is haunted because things move. They say it because the house remembers. Visitors describe the same sensation again and again, not fear, not panic, but the quiet, unmistakable feeling of being noticed, not stared at, not hunted, just noticed, as if the house is quietly watching, not aggressively, not urgently, but patiently, as if it's deciding whether to show you something or whether you are worth noticing at all. Tonight, we're going inside one of the most infamous homes in America, not to count ghosts, not to chase jump scares, but to understand why the same figures keep appearing in the same places at the same times, doing the same things, as though the house itself has memorized a routine. This is the Myrtles Plantation. The Myrtles Plantation sits just outside St. Francisville, Louisiana. Built in 1796, it has stood for over 2 centuries, long enough to witness slavery, disease, war, and death, long enough to absorb grief that never had a place to go, long enough for suffering to feel ordinary. At least 10 deaths are said to be connected to the house, some documented, others whispered. Stories passed from caretaker to caretaker, from guest to guest, changing just enough to feel personal. But what makes the Myrtles different isn't how many people died here. It's how consistent the hauntings are. People who have never met, who visit years apart, who know nothing of the stories beforehand, describe the same things, the same sensations, the same figures, the same unease in the same rooms, as if the house is repeating itself not for effect, but because it doesn't know how to stop. And once you notice the pattern, it becomes very hard to ignore. The most famous object in the house is an antique mirror in the main hallway. Visitors claim to see handprints appear in the glass, small ones like children's hands, not smeared, not dragged, just pressed there as if resting, as if the glass itself remembers being touched. Others report seeing figures standing behind them, reflected just over their shoulder, only to turn around and find no one there. The unsettling part isn't that people see ghosts. It's that the figures never acknowledge the observer. They don't reach out. They don't react. They don't even seem aware they are being seen. They just stand as if replaying something already recorded, as if the mirror isn't showing the present, but a moment layered on top of it. Multiple guests report seeing children on the staircase, not screaming, not running, just standing, sometimes holding hands, sometimes watching silently from the landing. Their expressions are rarely described as frightening. More often, they are described as neutral, empty of emotion, but full of presence, as if the children are waiting or remembering or simply present. Staff members say the sightings happen most often when the house is quiet, when no tour are running, when no one is looking for anything. No cameras, no flashlights, no expectations, just silence and time, which raises a disturbing question. Are these apparitions responding to attention, or do they appear regardless of who's watching? Because if it's the second, then the house isn't reacting. It's replaying. One story tied to the Myrtles involves a woman known as Chloe, said to have poisoned members of the Woodruff family. It's a story told often and told confidently, but historians point out major inconsistencies. Records don't fully support the account. Names don't line up. Dates shift. Details change depending on who's telling it. And that's important, because even when Chloe is removed from the narrative, the sightings don't stop. People still see a woman in green, still see children, still feel watched, still describe the same heavy air, the same sense of intrusion, which suggests something deeper than a single ghost story. Some investigators believe the Myrtles isn't haunted by spirits, but by moments. Emotional events etched into the environment: fear, grief, routine, expectation, playing back under the right conditions. Not intelligently, not maliciously, just faithfully. That would explain why the figures don't interact, why they don't change, why they appear even when no one is looking for them. House doesn't perform, it remembers. Guests often report one final sensation as they leave the feeling that something is still behind them. Not following, not chasing, just watching. Not with intent, not with hunger, but with familiarity. As if the house has already seen you before. And if the Myrtles truly records what happens inside its walls, if it stores moments the way film stores light, then every visitor becomes part of the story. Another layer, another impression, something else to remember. So here's the question I will leave you with. Are the figures at the Myrtles the dead, or are they echoes of the living? If you want more stories where places remember more than they should, subscribe to Moonlit Archives. And tell me in the comments, if you walked past that mirror, would you dare look back?